Hey guys, okay, I'm gonna do a quick one today. I know normally I do these really long, crazy videos, but I'm really trying to help people understand things and trying to teach them slowly but surely so they can pull it all in. Because I see people do lots of real weird stuff online. Like, oh, now that it's really high, we should buy it, and all those things. So anyway, this is Dr. Chef's Crypto. And as you know, I'm not an official financial advisor. This is not paid official financial advice. So it's entertainment education purposes only. What I want to do today is some advanced training on chart reading because we look like we may be in a bounce right now. And a bounce is a big time because if you can figure it out, you can make a bunch of money if you're paying attention. But I'm going to kind of use it as a teachable moment when it comes to how to do chart reading and how to focus in on what's going on and what possibilities look like. So I'm just going to go over the Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to kind of give you an overview of charts, just general, but it's not going to be super crazy advanced, but a little bit of advanced training on chart reading today. So with no further ado, let's dive into it. So I'm going to switch over here, and we'll go right here. Now, this is the Bitcoin chart. You see, Bitcoin BTC, Bitcoin to USD. This is the main chart. We're on coinmarketcap.com. And as you can see, this is quite an amazing, wonderful chart, right? Now, let's just go over this for a second because I put it up on 1 year. This is 1 year. You can have changed up here all the different things concerning how you're going to read that chart. But this is a 1 year chart, and what does it show us? Well, it shows us right back here in late 2020, right before the run-up. Back here, Bitcoin was around 15 to 20,000, okay? So if you would have bought here, you'd be at a 3x now minimum. But this is where it was, and it was just tooting along in the 17, 18, 19 range. Right around here, this time period is what you call after a halving. So this is a macro pattern. The halving of Bitcoin is a macro pattern. So, as a rule, after a halving, there's a giant run-up. There's a spike for a whole bunch of different reasons that we don't need to get into today. We've talked about them before. But as you can see, we have a moment of this range, and then pow, here we go. Now we're going up. Now when we get to this peak right here, this is a big, like, all-time high type moment where everybody's like super happy. And this is January. This is 1/7. And what happened here was the trigger that started everybody into getting into crypto this year in 2021. Because what typically happens is people start talking about it when it starts to go up. When there's some kind of explosive activity, people start talking about it. And that's what happened here. Now, the people that had been holding since it was $2,000 or $3,000 or $1,000 or $500 or whatever, those people were smart. And at 40, they took some gains, right? $40,000 is a big number. Now think about it like this. You've got to remember psychology of people, okay? You got to remember how people work. And a big number, a round number, it's kind of like, you go to the store and it's $99, which is not $100. And people are like, woo, it's on sale for $9.99. It's not $10. You know what I mean? Those big round numbers cause people to react. And this is pretty much across the board. That's why we're having what we're having happen now at 60. I'm just giving you the groundwork of why. So at 40, people realized, okay, that was a trigger for people. All right, Bitcoin's at 40. It's time to sell. And they did a lot of selling. And so that's what this is. This is that sell-off, which lasts from about 1/7 down to about 122. So January starts with an all-time high and then has a sell-off that goes down to not anywhere near a low, but around 30. Now I want you to notice right here. This is the 26th of January. You see this? This is 30,000. What is 30,000? It's another big round number. Do you understand? So now it's going to bounce off of 30. This 30 appears to people to be a big deal. Well, it was 40, which means I'm getting per Bitcoin $10,000 between 30 and 40. If I buy Bitcoins at 30 and they go back to 40, which seems very likely, then I will have $10,000 per Bitcoin. If I get 10 of them, I will have made $100,000 on my investment. So back they come. You see it? And now it's going up. Now, when they get right here, they're coming up on 50. And everybody has this discussion, right? They have this discussion. Is it going to blow through 50? Is it going to keep on going? Or is it going to drop back to the 40? What's going to happen? Because 50 is a giant number. And when you get your 50th anniversary, that's bigger than your 47th anniversary, right? Or 52nd. It's your 50th, right? 50,000, just like 100,000. So you need to remember this lesson when Bitcoin gets to 100,000, because it won't be long before Bitcoin gets to 100,000. And when it does, everyone's going to go crazy. There's going to be a massive sell-off at 100,000. There's going to be a massive amount of people buying in at the end of that sell-off. So there's going to be patterns you can track. But what happened here was the momentum was so strong. The momentum was so strong from this 30K bounce right here that it just blew through 50. So now it's nearing the end of February. That blow through 50 happened around Valentine's Day. You're sitting at 57, and people are waking up to the fact that this is crazy high. This is higher than it's ever been. It's a madness level high, and they're all saying the same thing. All right, now's the time to cash out. Now's the time. Because we know it's not making it to 60. We know it's going to bounce very, very soon in the late 50s. It's going to hit resistance and pull back. So let's sell now. So right around that point, near the end of February, people begin to sell. And we have this quick drop. Within 1 week, we go from pushing 60, up at 57, 58, down to 46. So we have a 10,000 drop, right? And all that is people selling because it's so high. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are like, yeah, but look how high it is compared to where it was. It was 18. It's up here in the 40s still, even though this is our current low. It's a 46. It was 18 just a couple months ago. So this is definitely the way to go. This is an investment for the long haul for sure. So now, investors and big money coming back in, and we creep our way up. There we are at 50 again. See that 50? Watch this. Mini hit. See that? Boom, 50, drop. 48. Right? See it? 48, 50, 48. 48, 50, 48. What's that? That's that 50 having that impact I was telling you about. We hit that big number 50 and people sold. But not a lot. Not a lot of people. It's only a drop of a couple thousand people. People aren't. They're holding in, and now it's going to go up. Because that's a show of confidence right there. It bounces back off the 50, and here we are. All-time high, 61. Blew through 60. But 60 is another one of those numbers. Pow, bounce back. Here we go, down again. You see it? It literally does it every time. You see it? 40, 30, 40, 50, 60. It literally does it every time. And it'll establish a new range. So see when it drops again this time, look what it drops to, 52. Never makes it to 50, see? 51.7. See? That's because the 50 that they had questions with right here, right? They know from this little bounce right here off of 50 that 50 has become the new level of support. So this time we're up at 60. See? We break 60, but it bounces off of that resistance. Boom. Back down, but it's not going down all the way. It's only going to 51 because it's never going to go off of 50 again, right? See? For this period of time. You understand how this works? You use those key numbers and you create a range. It bounces off of 50 now. Up it goes. New all-time highs, 64. Boom, 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 right here. Once we're at 64, you fall again because that's a new all-time high. A lot of people sell off. Now, at this point, people are thinking this can't last forever, right? It can't. There's got to be a bottom. This can't last forever. So now we're playing in the upper 50s. And that 60 point becomes resistance. You see? Right here it bounced off of 60. Right here it broke 60 up to 63, 64, but it fell back down. So now that 60 has been determined. You see it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests. 60 has been determined to be a resistance point. All right. Are you with me? I know this is complicated, but now people have realized at 58 that it's not going to go past 60, that they've reached the top. This is over and over. We've tested the resistance at the top at 60 and been rejected. So now they know. So now at 58, they begin to sell because they know that they're not going past 60. And it drops off. And this is May. Okay? This is May. Dropping off. Now we enter into this range, and we have this long time through June and July in a range. And everybody kind of set in the range. But once we get here, look at what that is. I mean, come on, guys. Look at what it is. That's 30. You see? That's back over here. So anybody reading the charts like, okay, now, my friends, we're on the other side of the mountain. Like, look, this is where the mountain starts. Okay, 30. 30 right here, 30. Boom. See it? We climbed up. We're hanging out right around 60 for all these peaks. Here we are. So now it's been slowly degrading through this range. But look at it right here. This is 719, my friends. This is a trigger day. Look at it. 29.8. So 30. It dips right below 30 for a split second. And everybody buys, okay? This is the trigger. These people set a trigger at 30,000 because 30,000 was the support level before the mountaintop. On the other side of the mountain, 4 or 5 months earlier, we had set up a support, a semi-permanent support at 30. This 30 may be we might never be below 30 again because this is the trigger. You see it? Now people are buying. People are buying because they're like, okay, so now we're in the end of July going into August and it's purchase, 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 purchase. Now we're in a range of purchasing. This is a purchase range where everybody's accumulating. They're all accumulating, accumulating, accumulating. We bust 50 for a second, come back down. Remember what those big numbers do. Boom. See it? 49, 52, boom, 46. See? For just a second, right there on 9/5 on September 5th, we broke it and then we put it back down, see? But we're never, look at that, 40s. We're never going back to 40 again. See, this was 30. We're back up now. It's like a little mini hill, like a little mini mountain. We test resistance and support over and over throughout this process, right? Look at this new support. Right here, bounces off of 40, goes back up, bounces off 40 again. So we're bouncing off of 40. Now, once we bounced off of 40 twice, the people realize we're not going back to 30. That 40 is the new support level. And then they start buying. And here we are. This is 10/19/21. This is October 19th and a new all-time high. 65, 66 we hit right here. Falls back a little bit. Of course, people sell when you get this kind of run up. When you're at 41 and you get to 40, you're 65, you're going to sell off. So they probably said, okay, once we're climbing, they're like, okay, I'm going to sell at 60 or 65, and then they start selling. Then we're in a little mini range. Look at the drop. Barely breaks 60. We test that support multiple times at 60. And then we're back up in the new all-time high, my friends, 68 this month, a week ago. This month, a week ago, new all-time high. What happens when a new all-time high hits? People sell. It's a new all-time high. People sell off. And here we are. Now, That is the story of Bitcoin over the last year. I hope you're paying attention because it sets pattern after pattern after pattern that you can now track. So let's bring it in. So you see the 1 year, let's bring it in. Right now it looks like it's dropping. See, let's bring it in. Here's the 3 month. You can see where it fell down right here. This is your 40s, bounced off of 40. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tests of support on 40, bouncing off each one. It's not going back through 40. Now it gets up here, it's practicing in this range. Look at this. Now you get to see, it looks like something's going on right here today. Whoa, something weird's happening. What's happening? Now, people are like, have no idea about this stuff, but you do, because you just saw that entire year. Let's go to 1 month. Now look at it. Here it is. We're dipping. We're in a range, and this green is the top of our range. This red is below our range, and we're in this range right around 60. We're staying around 60. We go up a little bit above it, a little bit below it. Boom, boom, boom. The range is 60. The range. Every time we drop below, we go back up. Every time we go above it, we go back down. 60. Now, here's our all-time highs. But look, you see this? Look, you see it? All right, let's get closer. Let's go 7 days. Look, here it is. We're falling out, but this is a range, and it's a range in the 60s, you see. We drop, you see what happens right here? We almost get 60, boop, we pop right up. That's what I'm talking about. 1 day, look at this. You see it? Here it is. This is the testing of the support. You see this? People are testing things. Right there, we spend a split second today below, and we bounce. Okay. I hope you can see that. Back on the 7 day, we had a support test. Okay. We got support at 60, strong support at 60. So look at this chart. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that is a bounce. Now, you got to make up your mind. And your mind, you got to go through it. Right now, the current Bitcoin price is 60 and some change. Why? Because we just bounced. It headed down towards 60. People saw it drop below 60 for a split second. Drop it, pop it up. You're going to have people put out little put out little articles, put out little videos, do YouTube streaming, etc., about the drop below 60. Go look at your news. I bet they mention Bitcoin below 60. The reason they mention that is because of all this time we spent above 60. But what they don't realize is that could very easily be a bounce. So now you have to make up your mind. Here's the opportunity. If that's a bounce and it goes back up, there's a major opportunity right now. Because we know that when it goes back up, it's going to at least 65, at least, and probably 70. It could continue up. But based on this information, it's going to at least 65. Well, that means you have an opportunity right this second to make $5,000 per Bitcoin. Okay, and probably, to say 10%, you have a chance to make 10% in a week. Now, if you have $1,000 to spend, that's going to be basically irrelevant, right? But if you had $100,000 that you could move, or let's say you had 2 Bitcoin you could move, you're going to make 10,000 plus on 2 Bitcoins within a week. This is why you need to get some liquidity. All right. What's the drawback? Why is it always dangerous in crypto? Because it could drop further. So here's what's going to happen. If it drops below 60 again in the next day or two, and it stays in the late 50s for more than a day or two, then we know we're headed back down toward 40. We're probably never going to break 40. We're probably always going to bounce off of 40. But that's why it's crypto, okay? So what I'm trying to say is, this is the time you would make that bet. If you think that we're still going up for the rest of the year, and Plan B and Casey and a whole bunch of people think that we're still going up, they still see 75 or 100,000 Bitcoin as a doable thing within 21. Everybody knows we're going to drop off in 22, but how high does it go in 21 before we start the fall? Has the fall started because this is mid-November? Or is this just another bounce and we're going back up? So I'm going to make a bet right now. And I'm not going to I'm not going to waste a bunch of money or take a lot of risk because I'm kind of in a holding pattern. But I'm going to make a bet. And my bet is going to be that we're going to go back up from here. Now, we'll know this for sure within the next couple of days. But I'm going to make a bet, and I'm going to take $100,000, and I'm going to put it in Bitcoin, and I'm going to put it into a 10x account, and I'm going to put the payout at 65, and I'm going to make $50,000 this week. That's what I'm telling you. That's what's going on. One Bitcoin is going to make, if it bounces up to fit 65. So I'm going to set a sell-off at 65. We're going to review this move, okay? We're going to review this move. Sorry, that's me trying to clean my screen. We're going to review the move that I'm talking about right now. So on this day at noon, 11/16/21, I got a Bitcoin and I put it into a margin account, and I put a 10x on it, and I put a sell off at 65. So I put in an entire order. If this works and it hits 65, now don't forget I can be liquidated at 10x, which means that I'll be liquidated in the upper 50s. So here's the basic bet. If it hits 65 before it hits 58, I make $50,000. Are you listening to me? If it hits 65 before it hits 58, I make $50,000. If it hits 58 before it hits 65, I lose $60,000. So I lose my 50 or I gain 50 on a 5,000 point spread with a little bit of liquidation space. So we're going to see, is it going to make it to 58 before it makes it to 65? I doubt it. But that's exactly what margin trading is. And that's exactly why we talk about support and resistance. You can use it to buy and sell, but you can also use it to margin trade. I'm not recommending margin trading. As I just said, if it hits 58 before 65, I lose all that money. Now, here's something I could do. I could set a stop loss at, 58.5 and not lose my money, but stop my trade. I would lose some money, but I wouldn't lose all my money. So this is very complex, advanced trading strategies that I do not recommend because they basically are like gambling, and they're gambling hard. But I'm just telling you right now that if I had an endless amount of money and I wasn't worried about any money, that I would buy a couple Bitcoin, I would throw them in a margin account at 10x, and I would bet that they're going to be on 65 before 58. And we're going to track this. So that happened at, noon today. And we're going to see tomorrow, the next day, and I'm going to make a follow-up video that's either how I got liquidated and why not to do it, or how I made $50,000 in a week and from risking only 5. So that's why we're looking at this margin trading. But The reason I wanted to show you that chart is because this is exactly what we've talked about for all the whole year. 30, bouncing up and down, 40, 50, 60. These are big numbers. They're psychological numbers. They are people reacting. People are buying to make prices go up. People are selling to make prices go down. And lock that into your head and think about these big numbers, because you'll see a couple bounces. You'll know it's going to bounce again, and you'll go all in on a bounce with your section that you're betting. Don't do it all, okay? You're going to you're going to get wrecked, okay? But take a piece of the puzzle and blah, blah, blah. So that's why I wanted to show you this bounce. Everybody's going to be spending today complaining that Bitcoin has gone below 60. But what we saw is a check mark, and we're looking at it going back up immediately above 60, which means the 60 is the support that's rejecting it. You're not allowed to go below me. Off you go up. You got it? All right. So that's today's video about the bounce at 60 and about the most likely scenario that it goes up from here. All right. Thanks, Dr. Chef. Please spread the love, spread the word, get people to pay attention, because somebody that knows this and had money to play with is about to make a whole bunch if they're paying attention. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a great day. None of this is official financial advice, remember. Okay. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.